Hi friends, I wish to give a clarification on an important question raised by many IAS aspirants. The question is, should an IAS aspirant compulsorily study the economic survey fully? In fact, this doubt has been plaguing the minds of many IAS aspirants for a long time. When I was an aspirant, when I used to write the examination, even at that point in time, we were advised to study the economic survey fully. Many students who were casual aspirants, they used to visit the government library. We used to study in the civil services examination section within the library. So these casual aspirants, even they used to give expert advice. Okay, we are not segregating students here, but by casual I mean that these students will not study at all, but they will give expert advice. Okay, when we used to ask in turn, what do you understand by economic survey? Most of them will not be able to even tell what is economic survey, but they will keep giving expert advice. The same is happening even now. Okay, even with the advent of the cyberspace and many advancements, such myths, rumors tend to be spread even now. Okay, first of all, please keep this in your mind. An IAS aspirant should study only those subjects and only those stuff that are given within the UPSC syllabus. Never study anything that is not necessary or unwanted. The more you study unwanted things, the chances of passing the examination will reduce. The chances of getting a better rank will reduce. Kindly keep this in your mind. I am advising this for your own good. Now, regarding this economic survey. First of all, UPSC does not require UPSC aspirants to be economists. You are not asked by UPSC to study economics. You are only asked to study economy. That too mainly Indian economy. You have to study Indian economy in depth. Apart from that, you have to be well versed with the important concepts in economics. This is what is required by UPSC. Overall, you have to correlate the dynamic developments in economy. You have to correlate this with the core part, that is a conceptual part. That's it. If you are able to do this, then you will succeed. Whether there is a need to study this economic survey fully. In fact, there is no need for an IAS aspirant to waste time studying this economic survey. It's a big document that runs into many pages. So don't waste your time, valuable time, memorizing everything within this economic survey. Okay, if not economic survey, what should I study? You have to focus on another document that's called the budget, the union budget. The official name of the budget is the annual financial statement. The document that the finance minister submits in the parliament each year. So this is what you have to focus on. But many IAS aspirants, they will not listen. They will just keep memorizing everything in the economic survey. The reason being, such rumors and myths have already been spread. This is the problem for IAS aspirants. So IAS aspirants, please come into reality. Don't live in a illusionary world. Okay. Now, I will briefly explain the difference between economic survey and budget. Economic survey is like a policy statement. It is like a framework. Within that, the government will list the important developments in the economy, the initiatives of the government, and so on. Okay, so basically this is a blueprint. The budget is the actual official document. It's called the annual financial statement. Within the budget, the overall finances, receipts and expenditure of the country, of the government will be given. Okay, the actual expenditure, revenue, the estimates, okay, everything will be given in the budget. So this is the difference between budget and economic survey. You have to focus mainly on the budget and not on the economic survey. Take the economic survey, just go through the overall essence of the economic survey. What is the vision? The basic points that it is focusing on. So just go through the essence, keep the economic survey aside. Okay, don't waste any more time. Now take this budget. Now what should you study from this budget? If you memorize everything in the budget, it will take many days. Once again, it's a useless exercise. Don't do this mistake. So don't memorize all facts and figures, numbers, the allocations within the budget. Okay. What you have to focus within the budget is that you have to focus mainly on the new schemes in the budget. So every year, new schemes will be announced, mainly socio-economic welfare schemes, schemes for women, schemes for children, schemes for agriculture, farmers, schemes for industries, and so on. So mainly focus on the schemes first, mainly focus on the newer schemes. The prelims examination, UPSC will focus on the newer schemes only, mainly, okay, on the finalized schemes. Apart from that, check whether there is any changes on the older schemes, existing schemes like NREGA and so on. So basically focus on the schemes first. Second thing, focus on the larger changes as far as the economy is concerned. For example, whether the methodology of calculating GDP is changing. So focus on such changes in the economy. So this is the second thing. Third thing, focus on the tax part. Find out if any new tax has been introduced. Find out if any existing tax has been abolished. Whether there is any changes in the existing tax. Okay. So mainly focus on the taxes, right? So focus on indirect tax as well as the direct taxes. Okay. Right. Mainly focus on the minimum alternate tax, capital gains tax and so on, wealth tax and so on. Often such taxes are subject to changes within the budget often. Apart from that, focus on important institutions. Each year, some important institutions will be started. Okay, domain specific institutions. Focus on such institutions also. So focus on these 4 larger areas within budget. These are very important from an examination point of view. Okay. Secondly, focus on the larger economic trend. Study this within the budget. Now what is this larger economic trend? Many students will just memorize all facts. What is the fiscal deficit? What is the GDP to debt ratio? Okay, what is the amount of exports, imports and so on? They will just memorize. It's of no use. UPSC will focus on the larger economic trend, macroeconomic trend. Questions will be asked like this. What is the trend of fiscal deficit, whether it is increasing or decreasing? What is the trend of debt to GDP ratio, whether it is increasing or decreasing? So questions will be asked like this. So focus on the larger trend of the economy. Okay. Mainly focus on BOP, balance of payments. Focus on the allocations for different sectors like agriculture, industry and so on. Then focus on the capital and revenue expenditure. Find out what is the trend. Don't memorize. Always have relative figures in your mind. Don't memorize actual figures. It's of no use. You can't keep these in your head. Have relative figures in your mind. Okay. So focus on the larger trend. Apart from that, mainly focus on the fiscal deficit, debt to GDP ratio, borrowings, and focus on export volumes. So UPSC will mainly ask questions from these areas. Apart from that, focus on subsidies. Okay, what is allocation? Here once again, don't memorize, have a relative figure in your mind. Okay, what is a food subsidy, what is a fertilizer subsidy, fuel subsidy, overall agricultural subsidy and so on. Right, focus on the subsidy. Focus on the collection of taxes, direct taxes and indirect taxes. Find out the trend, whether they are more or less equal or whether one tax is much more than the other. Focus on the trend of such things. This is very important. The macroeconomic trend is extremely important. I forgot to mention about inflation and employment. Focus on these two also. Okay, inflation, employment, right? So this is what you have to focus on the syllabus. And talking about the correlation, IAS aspirants don't memorize anything in a mechanical manner. When you study a fact from the budget, immediately correlate it with the conceptual part. If you study about fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, Immediately correlate it with FRBM Act. Immediately correlate tax with finance commission recommendation. Core part should be correlated with the dynamic part of the budget. Please do this. Right? We can give many examples. FDI. What is FDI? Is the core. Trend of FDI is the dynamic part. Disinvestment. What is disinvestment? Core part. Trend of disinvestment. Okay. How much disinvestment is the dynamic part. Correlate like that. Right. So please do this. Lastly, there are certain things you have to mechanically memorize. So here alone, just focus on mechanical memory. For example, how much FDI has been liberalized. So here there is no other alternative. You have to mechanically memorize. So such facts, please memorize in accurate manner. Right? So if you focus on these things, it is enough for the IAS examination. So don't waste time studying this huge document, economic survey. Focus on the union budget. Thank you.